And you know what you don't do with somebody who holds your fate in their hands? Mess with them about something that matters. And it appears that that's what happened with the former Speaker and Congressman Tim Burchett, who joins us now. What do you like? Driving through the pickup? What are you doing there right now? You picking up dinner or something like that? Where did I catch you, Representative?
No, well, the knuckleheads in Washington sent us home, and so I'm at the airport, and there's an honor air flight. A bunch of old veterans are flying in. I took a little time today to visit with them at the Air Force Memorial, and they flew in, and my buddy Eddie Manis owns a local dry cleaner here, Prestige Cleaners, and they sponsored this flight. And so I was coming in, and my wife texted me and said, the honor air flight's at the airport right now. And she said, I guess we're not eating Mexican tonight, because she knew where I'd be, because my daddy flew on like the third one of these, and it's just close to my heart. A lot of these old guys,
well,
you see them, and they're
I think that's
great. Yeah, and I want to tell you, as always, your dadgum show is cutting edge. Fentanyl, the debates, what's going on with the speaker. I mean, you're hitting major issues. The fentanyl crisis is a nightmare, and thank God bless you for getting in the middle of that thing. Why in the hell, excuse my language, why, I guess I put another $1 in the swear jar when I get home, but why in the world why is that not the leading thing in Washington every day? I deal with that every day, brother. I see people, I had a bill giving fentanyl pushers life sentence. Of course, nobody would take it up in Washington. I talked to a man in, South Carolina, and his boy had gotten some bootleg. He was on Adderall, and his buddy gave him an Adderall. Their prescription ran out, and it was a bootleg one. They found him dead with the pill just in his mouth, Chris, and he just bit it, and it killed him dead out right there, graveyard dead, as they say. And I'm sorry, I know you didn't want to talk about that. You want to talk about the speaker's race, but
no, I'm talking about it. It matters, but we both know the answer. It's not a point of obsession in Washington, D.C., because it's not going to get you elected, because it doesn't prove that the other side, unless you prove that one party is creating fentanyl, then it's not going to be on the agenda, because it's all about advantage. Let me ask you something. Are people okay with your vote, or are you getting a lot of heat for causing disruption by ousting the speaker?
Well, a lot of my well-heeled contributors, the chamber crowd, as I like to call them, they are pulling off of me pretty hard. And but the rank and file, and I picked up some. So, I've never been the darling of the elite crowd. It's not my people. And so I've been continuously, they're for me the day after the election. I'll just give you that, So
I hear you. So what happened in this phone call, Congressman?
Well,
what happened in this phone call?
Okay, I was at a position in there. I was going down two paths. I said, I'm either going to try to keep my friendship with Kevin McCarthy, the speaker, and vote for him, or I was going to trust my conscience. And I was on one of your rivals. I won't say their name, but and I just said, I said, how are you going to make that decision? I said, well, honestly, I'm going to pray about it. I asked God he's done pretty well for me. And oddly enough, one of my best friends, guy I've known longer than anybody. We were at Little Red Schoolhouse together, this pre-K thing back in the early 70s. And he called me. He's having heart surgery in a couple of weeks. And he was more worried about me after he saw what was in the news. And he said, and I told him, kind of my dilemma. And he said, brother, he said, you've always trusted your conscience. That served you well. And I thought, yeah, okay. And so I was praying about it. Well, I told that story on the other station, and lo and behold, the speaker called me, and I don't want to get too much into it, but it was between us, but it was condescending, I thought. And I felt like, I said I was praying about it, and I just didn't feel it made, after I was over with, because then it just went into, it's like his opening salvo. And then it just went, and he said, well, he said, what else? And I said, well, I was concerned about, we never brought up a term limits bill. And then he said, well, that's because the committee didn't do something. And then I talked to a member who carried that bill early this morning, about 5:30, I guess, or 4:30. I'm not sure. and he explained to me what really went down on that, and it wasn't as it was portrayed to me. And then I said, well, why didn't we come in the month of August? You know, we usually take August off, but then we took 2 weeks off in September, Chris. I mean, 6 weeks, and we knew September 30th was the end of our fiscal year. And, you know, he said, well, I don't make the schedule. And I just thought, man, you know, Nancy Pelosi, she knew how many reams of paper we were losing single ply or 2-ply toilet paper in the bathrooms. And so, you know, it just piled up on me. And then after I hung up with him, because when I took the call, I thought, you know, it's Washington. I could switch my vote, and nobody, you know, it's Washington. Nobody tells the truth up here anyway. So then I started thinking about it, and I thought, you know, that's not where I want to be, and that's not the character of who I want to be. Have that speaker's gavel, and you know, he since said on the news that that's not what he meant. I misunderstood, but what's done is done. I'm not dwelling on it. I just it's just unfortunate, and I fully expect to have opposition, well-funded opposition, and they will try to take me out in the primary with this vote. And I could have cost myself my career. Really, I thought about that. I did a video on my @Tim Burchett Twitter or X or whatever. It's got over 1 million views, and you know, and I think it resonates with people. I was really something I thought about, and I'm very conscientious. You know, we can't keep going down this economic path, Chris. We have got to get control of it. I talk about single moms working 2 jobs, you know, and they got a bunch of kids, and they're trying to keep them fed, and the dollar isn't stretching. And then Washington, here we are making $170,000+ a year, and we can't work 4 hours a day. It's pathetic.
Right.
And then they put a 40.
That's why
and they put that. Go ahead.
That's why that song blew up the way it did. That, you know, wound up being like, you know, the regular person's remorse, Oliver Anthony. Yep. And, you know, look, there's definitely an appetite for better in this country. People want to see deals made in Congress, not deals to make the members of Congress wealthy, but they want to see deals across the aisle that makes their lives better. That's why you guys are there. I look forward to seeing what happens next. I'd love to check in with you next week when you guys are getting ready to vote, so you can give me a sense of the state of play and where your head and your heart are. I appreciate you taking the time. And tell your wife, don't be upset about the Mexican. Taco Tuesday. It's Wednesday. All right? I don't know what you do on Wednesdays, but Taco's Tuesday.
Well, we call it the Mexon. It's really Don Jose's, but it's a Mexican restaurant attached to an Exxon, so you know the food's got to be good.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's high living right there. That's sweet corn. Congressman, thank you very much. Be well. Bring some Tums to dinner with you, just so that your stomach's got enough acid in it already. Thank you for being with us, and I'll check in with you next week. God bless.
I love you, Chris, and thank you so much for what you do for us. You put out the truth, and that's what we need in this world. We need more of it. Thank you, brother. Go get them.
Thank you. It's high praise. Be well, Congressman. I'll check in. You got a big job in front of you.